Showtime! The Capital G Show starts right now.
What's up YouTube, Capital G here. So guys, Prophecy just won Euros, and congratulations to the winner whose name that I will not try to pronounce because I'd probably just end up butchering it. But it was one of the newer age versions of Prophecy, and you're starting to see now that the High Priestess builds are starting to become an afterthought. In fact, just High Priestess in itself is kind of a dying card in the archetype, and it kind of brings me to the thought of, why were people ever paying upwards of $100 for this card? You know, now I'll personally say, and this is just me, I've never been a fan of paying $100 for any card unless it's absolutely vital to the deck. Like, I'll give you some examples. You cannot play Dragon Rulers without Dracosat. Like, that's just stupid. Tour Guide was absolutely vital to running Dino Rabbits or Windups, you know, in previous formats. I mean, it just wasn't an option. You had to run the card. And Abyss Megalo is absolutely vital to Mermail. You know, like, those are cards where you absolutely needed those to run the deck. You know, when I look at High Priestess, I think to myself, like, post Judgment Day being released, High Priestess was never vital to Prophecy. You know, like, this format is relatively simple. If you're not doing something to stop or at least hinder the plays of Dragon Rulers, like, you're basically getting shit on by the deck. You know, Evil Swarm have Ophion, Mermail have Hand Traps, and Abyss Gaios, which really can slow the deck down. Prophecy having High Priestess is like, what does she do to the deck? Like, she doesn't do anything. And that's how, at least for me, it became really evident that this whole structure of running 3 High Priestess plus copies of Justice, it wasn't sustainable. Like, I mean, all she basically is for the deck is just a big ass beat stick that can occasionally pop something. But the second that Judgment came out, I thought to myself, like, they get so much advantage out of that one card, which is totally searchable and totally at 3. It's like, why the hell do they need you anymore? I mean, you really don't do anything for them. When you look at the way that the Prophecy deck operates right now, and I'm actually contemplating not even calling the deck Prophecy anymore, because at this point it's more or less protect the Kaiku / Jogan / thank God Konami made these spellcasters so that they can work in this deck. She doesn't stop the E-Dragons from being summoned like Kaiku and Jogan can. You never summon her off of Judgment. And then, once you run High Priestess in the main deck, like, you have to run Justice alongside of her, which was kind of a shitty idea to begin with the second that Judgment came out, because it's like, every single time that I've seen somebody use Justice during the end phase off of Spellbook of Judgment, it's like, they end up with like 15 cards in their hand, having to discard like half their hand, and it's like, what's the point? I mean, you have so many cards that you're discarding them now, so what's the point of running like another bad card to facilitate a card that doesn't even work well in your deck? Like Robbie said it, this card is kind of a hindrance to the way that the deck is currently running right now. Like, I'm not saying that High Priestess is a bad card or anything, it's just, it was never, in my opinion, a card that's worth $100. Even right now, as the card is currently around $50, it still just strikes me as, what? Like, why are people paying for this card when the deck is better without it? You know, that's my ultimate takeaway from this deck was, you know, High Priestess is a fantastic card, but she was never more than a spellcaster version of Hyperion. And the reason that Hyperion has been vital for Agents is because they've only got like 3 good cards. Prophecy has like fucking 30 of them. I mean, you know, I may be exaggerating a little bit here, but High Priestess is one of those cards where if you really looked at this format and the way it was shaping up to where Dragon Rulers were going to be the top dog, this card was completely unnecessary because it does nothing to help you beat the deck. I mean, hell, it's not even good against Evil Swarm. I mean, it's actually a hindrance in that matchup. So I really can't think of any matchups outside of like the rogue matchups where High Priestess is just like the absolute nuts. I mean, for the most part, she's just completely unnecessary. And if you went out and paid over $100 for this card, like, I feel bad for you. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Subscribing makes life happy.